going to go a little bit different particular Yuma Halach. And it's a very big idea. It's Kama Pratim. So there's a few Yisoides. We're talking the Yisoides, but instead of talking all the Yisoides over Kama weeks, we'll talk about one Yisoid and then we'll do something. One Yisoid and we'll do something. B'chlolos, the idea is going to be connected more to sound, which is something we call it wrong place to take all in. So up until now we did breathing and then quieting the mind and visualizations, different types of studios, which is koshatzim and shadilim. But this is using sound, using koyach hashmiya. So there are certain people that it's hard for them to visualize. You try to do, let's say, spashas hakashpi or some other thing. It's very hard to mamish visualize. For some people, when they close their eyes, you can't see anything. And the Rizal says it depends. If you don't see mamish anything, then it could be kaka shtik of gam, but that's only if you can normally see. But if you don't see anything, it's something you're not a visual person. So we talked about how everything you do, you have to try to start with different senses. It shouldn't just be one idea. So you start to start with different senses. This Mahalach, we're going to talk, Mezer Hashem, over the next. It's a big new one. I'll tell you what close we're going to talk about. So it ranges from ideas that are connected to Musa. Sifrei Musa talk about this. Yisrael Salanta talks about this. How you use sound, or repetitive sound, which we're going to talk about what this is. You repeat something over and over again that has the whole thing. And then we're going to go into a little bit into the Kabbalah Sarishonim, the Iker into Sefer Yitzirah, and in Sefer Yitzirah, the Iker into the way the Chachmei and the Kabbalah Ashkenaz. So this is from the Yeshiva of Yehuda Chassid, Lezer Gemaiza, Balakit Marakeh, and their Chavraya, and the way they talk about it, which is actually something that we're not very familiar. People are not so familiar with, because in Bechlal and Oisius, there's it's a Kisva Rizal, and from that forward, when anyone is thinking about different oisius, you're always looking at the tzir for oisius, or the tzur of the oisius, and the gematria of the oisius, and that's the way you're looking at the letter. Let's say you look at the aleph, you're looking at what the aleph, the gematria, and the aleph is the aleph, the chachma, is always connected with the seichel, or the tzir of the aleph, but there's another derech, which is a derech of more than the Kabbalah Harushonim. You'll see that this is also the Ramak writes this clearly. There's a shtickle, if you want to look it up, I don't think it's safer. There's the Or Yoker and Parsha Shlach, the Ramak writes over there that Tzarchodom Lizboinen, not only b'tzurosei, b'tzurufei, the gematia of the ois, but also how you mevata, how you pronounce the ois, the sound. So the koyach of the sound, and we'll see later, this is actually very much connected with the derech of Baal Shem, the tefillah, which is mamish sound. And then Be'ez Hashem, if we go a little more b'oimek, we're going to talk about something that's called, when you repeat a certain phrase, or a certain word over and over again. I don't want to say the secular word, because that has become my with tape, so I'm not going to say the word, but the idea that you repeat it over and over again, I don't have a Hebrew word for this, but that you repeat one word over and over and over again, it does something, that sound, when you repeat it over and over again. If you know what I'm talking about, fine. If not,
you can't make Kaddish on the secular word.
No, we have to Kaddish on the emes of word. You have to find a Lashon Kodesh. Lashon Kodesh.
Chabura, it's Manchla. Nicht Manchla. So du a Wort, das heißt auf Englisch heißt es Chanting. Chanting meint, wenn ein Oilem zusammen, es macht es dann alle zusammen auf derselbe Speed, derselbe Rate, Geime Suche, Shema, Yisroel, Hashem, keine, alle so wie die Kinder reiten.
No, so this idea of it's like a mantra, but it's you repeat it over and over again. We're going to see different. Again, also the Ramak writes it in a few places, and it talks about. And this Makor is actually the Shas for this idea, where people use sound like the dripping. The Gemara says that if you want your seichel to open up, you just sit next to water that drips water. So it's actually brought down with Shulchan Aruch. You got to do some Shabbos. You got to put a dripping water on a pot. Why? Because the same repetitive sound, drip, 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 can do something to your. Can do something. Can alter your consciousness. Can alter your das. So this is another malach. We'll talk about that, and then Be'ez Hashem, if we get Mamash into the oil, we'll have to go into Ablafia, Barom Ablafia, which is a whole system of using all different types of tziruf and different sounds, and it's a very big sugya. This is Bechlala. So we have to go back to the Sefer Yitzir. Again, as I said, every week Be'ez Hashem will talk one nekuda of this idea, and we'll do something. So it's not just going to be talking for the next 5 weeks, but every week we'll talk about one nekuda. So Bechlalos, the idea is, it starts off, we have to understand this very deeply. If you remember, we talked about the colors, which also Derech Agav is from the Ramak, but we found it also in Agad Pirka and other Chassidish Sforim write this. There's a lot of Chassidim talking about this, which is when you look at the colors of the world, you have to think about what this color represents to you. If a person sees red, you have to say, okay, so why am I seeing red? I'm seeing red because red is Gvura. If a person sees white, okay, white is Chesed. So you're looking at the color, and automatically what you're doing is you're looking at that and you're seeing in all the textures and all the colors of the world, you're seeing the way the Rebbeinu Shalom is talking to you, and you're feeling connected through the colors that you see. So nothing becomes random. This means that you're becoming sensitive. It's just, I don't know if you say sensitive, when you become sensitive, you have a hargosha, like a hargosha pinius, that everything is a likus, and the Eibush is talking to you through everything, through the colors. There's no mikveh.
Is it meditation or just when you see colors?
Any color, so we learn from different forms, that whenever you look at a color, you should ask yourself, why am I seeing that color? You said if you see red, something shows up that's red. Walking on the street, you see blue. Why do I see this color? I'm just talking about, you could, a little bit more with seichel, not OCD. He says you look at it, and you're open to the idea that the Eibush is talking to you always. That there's always a conversation. Everything that you're doing, there's an opportunity for dveikos. This is what the idea of the colors is. So whatever you look at, nothing becomes non-mikra nikra. Everything has an attention. Everything has a kavanah. And on a deep level we're going to talk now, this is also connected to sound. But just like its colors, everything, all the sounds of the world is really the Eibush talking to us through these sounds. The Torah of Baal Shem Tov Vayidua, the rule Echad Medaberes V'Shuk. So the Baal Shem Tov writes that Medaberes V'Shuk means that the person who is Medaber Be'echad is talking about the person. That means everything that you talk, every person that you speak to, every time you hear something, you're hearing it as an invitation to the Mizdaber Kalakus. The mocker of this, and we have to go through this a little bit more, but the mocker of this idea is that we say that Basar Umaris Niver that the world was created for Asar Mamaris. What's the fact that the world was created for Asar Mamaris? We talked about this at the beginning last year, I don't know if you remember, but the Kitzur, very big Kitzur Nimritz, is that there's Oil Matzil Bri Yitzir Asiya, that the Dalud Oilmus, it says, with Baal Shem Shemayim Nasu, the Ruach Piv Kol Tzavon. And there's a pasuk also, Vayipach Na'at Nishmas Chaim, which means that there's 3 Dorim in the Bria. There's a gather in the Bria, which is the Dvar Hashem Shemayim Nasa, Vayomer Hashem Yi Oyer Vahi Oyer. That's Bechinas Amira. That's Dibur, Basar Mamoras. Then there's a more oimik of the creation, which is the Ruach Piv Kol Tzavon. That's the Ruach Piv. It's not Dibur. And then the Vayipach Nishmas Chaim comes from the Hevel. So Hevel is connected to Olam Abriya, and Beruach is connected to Olam Yitzira, and Dibur is connected to Olam Asiyah. The mocker of the Bria is an Olam HaMachshava, which is, the Olam HaMachshava is considered, is Atzilus. That's Iyu v'gamei Echad, Iyu v'chayei Echad. It means that there's a yichud between the Oyer and the Keli. Pshat is that in simple language, it means that the Eibush had a kavanah to create the world, a Machshava to create the world. It's actually also a place in the Rosh Hashanah that the Machshava and the Mais and the Dibur happen in 2 different periods of time, right? In Nisan and Tishrei. So there's Machshava to create the world. That's the way the Bria exists in the Machshava Velikos of the Eibush HaKaviyachol, which means it's like when you have an idea, the doima to this idea, when you have an idea in your head to think about something, and it still exists in your head, but it's something about something else. You want to do something. So that thing is in one madrega, it's separate from you because it's a new machshava. It's not by you. It's not that it's not like that. There's a person that has a seichel and there's an inyan sichli. So when a person has the thought is a second idea to his machshava, and this machshava is a little bit upgetron, a little bit separate from the person. That's the way the beginning of the Bria comes. And then the Bria, the Nishavas of Bria comes through the Dvar Shem Shemayim Nasu. So first comes the Hedel, which means that it's starting to leave Kaviyachol the Eibush. So it's breath that's rising up from Vipach Bapel Nishmas Chaim, coming from Man Nafach, the Torah Nafach, it's coming from the inners. Then it becomes Beruach Pir Kol Tzavom, which is the Olam HaMalachim, which is the way the Rishonim call Olam HaYitzira, is the way it exists, Beruach Pir, so it's in the world of Ruach. And then finally when it becomes externalized, which means it becomes Mechutz, Bereshis is Bara, is Bar, so it becomes externalized, it becomes outside of Kaviyachol Deivishner, is through Dibur. So the Olam has 4 madregas Panemius at all times. This table, you have to understand this table is the way it exists in Machshava Agduma, the way it exists in the Eivish's Machshava. That's the way the table exists in the Olam Atzilus. And then there's the table, the way it exists in Olam HaBria, which is that it's still connected with the Olam HaNeshamas, which is V'yipach V'apim Nishmas Chaim. And then the table is connected the way it's in Olam HaYitzira, which is the way it's a Beruach Pir Kol Tzavam, the way Olam HaMalachim. And then the table is connected the way it's Olam HaSiyah is through Dibur. Why Dibur? Because Dibur is when you externalize something that comes out of your Machshava, it comes outside yourself. That's the kavanah. Now, once it starts this, so when it says that Histakel Be'eraisa Bar Alma, that the Eibush HaKaviyachol looked in the Torah and created the world. So what's the tools that the Eibush created the world? And we say, we'll have to understand this a little bit more boimic, Histakel Be'eraisa Bar Alma, and it's brought down in the Ramban and Parshas Adinu, and the Gra talks about Sifra Mitznius, that everything in the Bria is mushush in the Torah. Everything that ever happened, you and me, and everything that ever happened, the whole history of the universe is mushush in the Torah. Where do you see it in the Torah? Where do you see it? So we have to understand the way it works. We're not going to go into that whole Torah which we talked about Erev Shavuos last year, which is the whole thing about the Torah of Atzilus, Torah of Bria. Remember, the Maggid is another Mahalach, like this. That the medium, the tools through which the Eibush HaKaviyachol created the world is through Oisius. And you look at many Chassidish Svarim, it talks about Kol Ha'olam Molei Oisius. It says in many Chassidish Svarim. What does it mean that the world is filled with letters? It's filled with Oisius. Because Oisius are the tools, are the medium, are the vehicle, are the kalim to which the Eibush HaKaviyachol creates. So the Eibush has a Asar Modas Nevarelah. That's Machshava to create the Or. Then the Machshava goes into the Hevel. Then it enters into Ruach Pir. And then it enters to Dibur. Then it actually creates the Or. So let's talk about Or, because it's more simple to talk about it. Everything of the Bria is Be'etzem the Dvar Hashem. Everything of the Bria is Be'etzem the Dvar Hashem. Because the mocker of this Bria isn't Dvar Hashem. So it's different tzirufim. But the tziruf, let's talk about the simple tziruf of the word Oyer. The tziruf of Aleph Vav Reish creates, is the tool, is the vessel through which Oyer becomes revealed in this world. Through the letters Aleph Vav Reish. Now you can look at this from a level of Gematria or Gematria Roz. You can use different Gematrias, you can use what every letter represents, etc. or it actually is connected also with the sound of Aleph, Vav, Resh, and the Tziruf with the Cholam creates the word Oir, and that sound, Oir, is the Mocker V'Shoyesh of Oir. In Lashon Kodesh, or even in modern Hebrew, people think there's no word for objects, for things. What's a thing called in Lashon Kodesh? It's called Dvarim. Why? Because everything is a Dvar Hashem. It originates from the Machshava of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then it goes through the process of Olam Abri Yitzir Asiyah, then it comes to Dibur. The tool of Dibur is Oisius. What are the basic Oisius? So if you look in Sefer Yitzir, so in Sefer Yitzir, in Perek Aleph, Mishnah Aleph, it says that Chokak, the Chotzav Chotha is Oisius. And in the Oisius, the 22 Oisius Atayr, besides the Mansapach, which is another connected with the hate of words, and that's not only beside the Chetex of Das. So, in the Oisius of the Aleph, the Chofes Oisius, there's a division of three Oisius, three Madregas. There's Aleph Mem Shin, which are called the Imois. Why are they called Imois? Imois means mothers. They're the mother letters. Why is Aleph Mem Shin? So again, if you look, take up the Sefer Yitzir, open up the Grow, open up other proportion, and you look at the commentary, most say because Aleph Mem Shin is Mekusher to Eish, Mayim, and Aver. It's connected to this. We know that there's 4 Yisoides, Eish, Mayim, Ruach, Afer. There's Bechlolis is 4 Yisoides, it goes back to the Nevuas Yecheskel, and he sees the Eish, and he sees the Ruach Sa'ara that's connected to the four daggers of Klippa, which is the 4 daggers of the elements. The Koyach HaOfer, the element of Ofer, is Nichel in the three other ones, and the Ramak writes a Pashta Raya, says if you take fire and water and oxygen, which is wind, and you put them together in a pot, and you cook the water, and you let the water cook out, you'll see on the bottom of the water is going to be a little schmutz, a little dirt. He says that's the Koyach HaOfer that's Nichel in the 3 koyachs, the 3 elements, the 3 Yisoides. So you have Eish Mayim Ruach. Eish Mayim Ruach, which is Aleph Mem Shin. There's another Mahalach, and this is the Mahalach that we're gonna work with. There's another Mahalach that the Oisis of Aleph Mem Shin is sound, not Gematria and not what it represents, but how you sound it. Aleph is the Haschala of sound. When you open up your mouth, the sound that you make is Ah. That's the sound. Ah is the beginning of sound. Derech Agav, it says in Sifrei Kabbalah that the reason why it says Behei Nivra Olam, because Behei is the Hevel. It's the Ha before the Ah. But the Mocker of Bria comes from Ah. You open your mouth, the sound that you make, Ah. That's the beginning of sound. That's a scholar of sound. The end of sound, which Pshat is, how do you conclude something with sound? What's the sound that closes things? Mem. So if you go ah, that's the beginning of sound and the end of sound. All sounds occur between the aleph and the mem. That's the beginning and the end. That's the yesh and the ayin. But that's the whole Ascholas Abriya is the whole thing is connected with the ah sound and the sound. The aleph and the mem also have the letter shin, which there is the word shema. The shin is an interesting sound. Again, you have to sound it, not look at the tzirufim and not look at the dalet, tagim, or forth. That's the shin. The sound of shin is shh. Yeah, it's the Rashi and Chumash. That when they wanted to make Kolam and Yeshua wanted to make quiet, they said shh. Why? Shh is the sound of the balance between silence and sound. If you want to make someone quiet, you say shh. So ah is sound, is silent, shin is the balance between the silent and the free streichla. What? Yeah. Right? So this idea that it's the schola in the end, and the shin is the balance, and this is very, very legeya, b'chlolos, to the idea of sound, because you're not trying to go to the full sound, end sound, and middle sound. these letters, Aleph, Mem, Shin, when we Be'ez Hashem get to this place, we're going to talk about when Rabbi Avram Balafia talks about this. It's a little dangerous. We have to do this with proper Kavana and Mikveh and Mitzvah, all the Zachen. And we'll see when we get to that area. But a lot of it has to do with actually sounding the shemus. You say names, say the Ibsh's name. It's not mamish the whole name, and you say you stop 5 breaths between different things. And the Yudke Vovke, which is the easiest practice, which takes about an hour and a half, but the Yudke Vovke idea, you add the Aleph to it. There's a whole Torah why you add the Aleph, because that's the Makar sound, but it's interesting that in Sefer Yetzirah already says, in the Yudke Vovke, the B'etzem is only 3 letters. There's Yud, Hey, and Vav. But in Sefer Yetzirah it says, V'chosmei, that the letters of the Aleph, Aleph Mem Shin is Chosmei, the Chosmei is Yudke Vav, or Vav Hey Yud, or Hey Yud Vav, the different tzarufim. And here's a shtickle, I don't get into the whole binyan, but this is a shtickle from the Guinness Eggers from University of Italia, from Baal Shem Tov, which is a Talmud of Rav Balafia. Balafia was a very, let's just say, was a controversial. No, Talmud from Balafia. He was Talmud from Balafia, and it's just interessant to say because the Rashba didn't like him, and the Rashba wrote very shver oisis on him, and the Chayat also wrote very shver oisis on him. But Lepoil, the Ramak kashed because there's a big shtiklach in the Parvus of Moinim, straight from Chayil Haba, shtiklach in the Parvus. And Chayvital more, but Chayvital not in the Kisari, but Mishari Kudush, by the parts that he added, he put full of Abalafia. So Abalafia is one of
Chidu says the reason why he didn't want this thing to go out the pits. That's not the reason
that kind of was I know the Chidah. I think you're talking about why the Chidah said Chidah didn't let them. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Right. Okay, just again, the Chidah took out the reason why they printed Shari Kedusha didn't Chelik Daled has to do with also the. Okay, we'll talk about the same concept, but this is Shigeh. So. Because it's a very Yisraelistic form. Shara Oyer is the most Yisraelistic sefer in terms of Kabbalah. It's the easiest sefer to read. And has to do with the Shemus. It's got a ganz easy sefer to read. But this sefer is a little bit more shver, and it's a very nice sefer on Oisius. A lot of thing about Oisius.
What's the name?
It's called Guinness Eggers. I don't recommend it to be mamish the first sefer to learn Sefer Kabbalah, but over here he writes that Eish Ruchmaim. It's in Guinness Eggers Chelik Sheni and Shachas Hashlishi Acher Oisius Aleph Mem Shin. And he talks about the different Oisius, and he's mitzaref. I'm not going to tell you what the whole oimik of this is, but the Yud Kei Vav, which are the basic 3 letters of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, he says the etzem they're actually Aleph Mem Shin. That's the same letters. How he does this is a little bit, again, it's not so clear. It could be because the Yud is Chochma, and Chochma is Mayim, and the Hey is Bina, which is Eish, and then the Vav is the Midas, so then it becomes Ruach, and it's a Mitzaref. But that's the Nekuda, that is the Aleph Mem Shin of the Yisoidis. These are the 3 Aleph Mem Shin of the Yisoid letters. And it's going to be very negaya, because when you're going to do Tzirufim, or you're going to say the names, to understand what these sounds are. Then, in addition to these sounds, there's also the Sheva Kfulos. The Sheva Kfulos, again, is Beis Gimel Dalek of Pei Reish Tav. Bagat Kapras, or Kapoiris or Poroiches, and this is all Beis Gimel Dalek, Pei Reish Tav. Bagat Kapras, or Kapoiris or Poroiches is the same word, because all these letters, Kfulis Prat is that they can be sounded Dogash Verofik. So Beis, we have a Beis and a Beis, Klor, Gimel, Gimel. The Yemenite even have a Gimel, which is like a J in English. We don't have this. Most Ashkenazim don't have it. Starting when you have it. Gimel. So you have Beis, Gimel, Al Beis, Gimel. Daled is the. That's why it says, the Gemara says that you have to be Mayach Be'echad. How can you Mayach Be'echad? If you try to be Mayach Be'echad from today to tomorrow, you can't do it, because we say Echad in Ligmar, because our Dalet is dogish and he can't. But if you say Echad TH, you can take a Marech Bechad, that's take the market, that's the real way to pronounce Dalet. To be Marech and Dalet is go a little Z, become a little slidey. And the other interesting letter, Chaf, is Chaf. The other interesting letter is Reish, and Reish is like a roar. It's like a roll. No, it's a Spanish. We don't have it. The Spanish have a it's a different Reish. Some Spanish have a Reish and a Reish. So it's like a rolling Reish. Okay. This is because these again. So that sounded these letters. These letters are called the Sheva Kfulos, and this is connected to all the things Sheva that the Sefer Yetzirah talks about. The 7 days of the week are connected to the seven letters. The Sheva Kfulos are connected to the 7 letters. Every day we have different the midas. Yeah, okay. We have also in English, you have Sunday, Lashon Kodesh, we have Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, like the Ramban writes. We don't have days, they're not called anything. But in English, which is based on French, you have the names that are called Sundays after the sun, Mondays after the moon, Saturdays after Saturn. These are actually planets, the 7 planets. We don't have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but if you know French, it's actually the way it's pronounced in French. The same thing also. You have Mars and Mercury and Venus, which is Saturday and Shabtai, all those others. Yeah, exactly. So it's Mars. Mars is Tuesday, and Mercury is Wednesday. So this is what you have the same idea.
Jeudi is
Jupiter, exactly. So this is the same thing as you have. So the Sheva Kfulos is connected to sounds. Again, we're working with the sound, and then you have the 12 Oisius Pshutos. The Oisius Pshutos is Hey, Vav, Zayin, etc. And they're corresponding also to the 12 Shvatim, connected to Chadashim, and there's a whole Torah in the Sefer Yetzirah connected with these things. But the Ikar Kos is that it's the idea of sound. Okay.
3, 7, and 12.
3, 7, and 12. That's the division of these letters. In the 12 himself, there's letters from there's Alma Duchra and Alma Nukva. There's different letters. There's male letters and female letters that look standing up. A Vav, a Zayin is a male letter. A Hey, anything that has like a more a bigger Keli is considered a female letter or Chodesh and Parsha. Shiur writes. But this is the Bechol. We're going to get into the Pratim more B'oimek, but these are just a few of the Yesodis. I want to talk about a little bit something. This is the big Nakuda here. There's an Indian ploy. There's a very fascinating thing. So we have to understand this. So we say, how does it work? Let's focus from the Olam Asiyah further. That the world is created to the Olam Asiyah through Dibur. Dibur is we'll call it a spiritual vibration. You know what a vibration is? A frequency, a movement.
Gal.
Gal. Yeah, that's a very gal. A wave, yeah. So there's a tnuah, that there's a vibration, a spiritual vibration. Haste, that the word oir is a spiritual vibration. We're working with vibration. We're working with sound. That's very together. So this vibration then becomes revealed, these galos, in a certain physical vibration, which means, I don't know if you know physics, and I'm not going to explain to you how this works on a physics level in science, but the klolus is that let's say this table is a table. This is called matter. So you feel that it's dense. It feels like you can't push your hand through it. This matter is actually condensed energy. You know what condenses? It becomes it's compressed energy, which means that the table, the etzem, according to science, not according to ruchnistic science, that the table itself, first of all, 90% of the table is empty space. The table. But what it is in the table is condensed energy. So energy is when energy becomes matter, it looks like a table or a chair, whatever the thing is. This is, by the way, this is what an atom bomb is. If you can take matter and make it back into energy, you can explode the world. Energy, what's energy? What's energy? This is a big word. What's energy? Energy is like a koyach hatnua. The koyach hatnua, this movement, in science can also be called string theory, but the idea is that it's like a vibration. It's a physical vibration. A vibration is a physical tnua. This physical tnua gives rise to this physical table. The mocker of this table, let's try to understand it deeper, and we say that it's a Devar Hashem. So the mocker of this table, when you look at it from Fleischgoy, and you say, this is a table. Then you look at it a little bit more with microscopic, you look at it a little bit more boimic, and you say, it's not Mamsha table, it's energy. What's the energy? The energy gives rise to the table. Then if you look at the more ruchni, so you say that the mocker of the physical energy is the spiritual vibration. So this is the way it works. There's a spashnus of the oil. Oil. The word oil, that creates this vibration sound that says oil. This oil sound in the spiritual world translates, eventually becomes is mishtalshel to an oil, to a sound vibration that says oil. That energy gives rise to oil, which is actually life. Especially the beginning of no, the hevel vet, the hevel vet, ruach, when the ruach vet, no, that's a spiritual dibur. The spiritual dibur has to go through the process of making it to physical dibur. The way the physical dibur transforms from spiritual to become physical is that it goes through these stages. First it becomes hevel, then it's huh? Doch was schon dibur beruchnis. Yeah. Wie sie steht. What? Let's see this. When I'm talking now, where's my dibur? Where's my hevel? And where's my ruach?
All fiction in there.
Ein hemshach.
Right. The mom is in Asiya.
So the asiya of the dibur then creates a physical vibration of energy in asiya, avada. In asiya. And once it's in asiya, then the process begins. So that's why you have physical objects in asiya. Okay. So this is the way it works. So there's a double mamish pelodic thing that you find, and we're going to have to explain what this means. You find that some of the Rishonim, like Rav Balafia, and it's brought on by others, some of the Rishonim take Greek words, if you're not Bahavi, so you think it's Lashon Kodesh, but it's not. Greek words that don't come from the Snish Meshalune, not from our Messiah, and they say, this, what?
Greek,
Yevunis. No, but I want to be Madlish. It's actually Greek, and this Yevunis. It's actually Greek. And they make Gematria. So the Rav Pinson takes Greek words. The Mashal, Devolish. Devolish, the word for devil, Derech. You know that in English is the word devil? It's a koyach, let's say you want to say koyach strache, called the devil. The devil. What's the mocker of the word devil? It comes from a Greek word. The word is dva, like dvei, the same thing in Aramaic. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So what happens is that it's dvai bolish means two beitzim. That's what it means. As those two.
In deze of Afrika die van
yeah, verstehe. So what's talking about here? I'm trying to understand the logic of that. So let's so we have to understand this idea. In other words, they're taking words that are not Lashon Kodesh, and they're taking it and they're making it gematria, and they're saying this sounds like this, and this is what it means, and this is the gematria. Yeah, you're right. The Gemara says half Africa. So they said, what's the story? What's that? Now we have to understand this more boimic. Let's try to understand this shtick of boimic, and it's going to hopefully open us up a little bit. So let's go like this. We'll start like this.
Sorry, only Yevunis or other languages
All
also?
languages, yeah. Whatever they spoke.
Because Yevunis is you have to look in Leifis.
No, yeah, that's English. No, because that's what they spoke. Nabalaki spoke in Yevunis, so they studied Greek. Huh? Yeah, it's all told me internet, they make the shik. That's all.
Politics.
Yeah, that's finished. Okay, no. So what's pshat? So we have to understand like this. First, let's go like this. We'll start slowly. This is machlokes Rishonim. You do the machlokes between the Rambam and the Rambam. We get the Lashon Kodesh. The Rambam in the Moira Chele Gimel Perek Chas writes that the reason why Lashon Kodesh is called Lashon Kodesh is because there's no Lashon for the Zachros of a person. There's no Lashon for Bia. The Torah says Bia, but Bia means to come. It doesn't mean anything. It means, and so there's no Lashon of Chibur between Zacher and the Keva. There's no Lashon for bowel movements. There's no. That's why I can't tell you what the word is. There's no Lashon for bowel movements. There's no Lashon when a person has to go to the bathroom. What's the Lashon? So the Torah is Lashon Nikia. So that's why the Rambam said that's why it's called Lashon Kodesh. Comes the Ramban. The Ramban in Shmois Perek Lamed Pasuk Gimel. Ramban writes that if Taka doesn't know the reason that it's called Lashon Kodesh, so then it should be called Lashon Nikia. Not Lashon Kodesh. What's the Kedusha? Why is it called Kedusha? So the Ramban says that the reason why Lashon Kodesh is called Lashon Kodesh is because Shemehem Nivru Olam. Yidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'tzargmus and B'tzal L'tzargmus Oasis that the Vasar Moshe Nivru Olam. That is the Lashon Habriya, and it's also the Lashon HaNevuah. That the Eibusher is Gala Nevuah through Lashon Kodesh. That's why it's called Lashon Kodesh. What's Lashon Kodesh? So we have at the beginning of the Torah, it talks about Safa Achas. So what's Safa Achas? Dvar Machad and Safa Achas. So it says in the Safa Achas is Lashon Kodesh. But what does that mean? So there's a Maral in a few places, in Guraria and Chodesh. The Maral writes like this: that the Shibin Lashonis, the 70 languages, the 70 correspond to the 70 nations, which means that every nation has their expression, their way of their isgalus, their way of bringing out this idea. Every person, so the
Same thing with the Ramban
with the same thing. I know what you're saying. That's Lashon Kodesh. That's why it doesn't have it. Okay, we don't have to. So we don't say everything. The Maral says like this. This is the Yisod. The Yisod is like this. This is Yerushalmi Megillah. It says that the Safa Achas is the Safa Shel Achdus. That the Safa Achas Pshat is that Lashon Kodesh is because this is the way the Maral understand it. Because it's Goy Echad Ba'aretz, which is the Yid is the Achdus and the Bria. Because the Yid is the Achdus and the Bria, that's the Klal and the Bria. So the Yid speaks Lashon Kodesh, which is Olam Achdus, which is the Lashon Achdus, and the Pratim of all the languages are Noveya from this Klal. So there's Lashon Kodesh B'chlolus, and then there's the Prati Halashonis, which are Be'emes Mushrosh from Lashon Kodesh. But the way they have La'achar Shvira or La'achar Golus, whatever the language you want to use, this language becomes separated from the Olam Achdus and it becomes an independent language. But Be'etzem, it's in its mocker, it's Safa Achas in Lashon Kodesh. Where do we see this Nekuda? We see this in the Torah itself, where the Torah has the Torah has Lashonis that are not Lashon HaKodesh. Right? It's a Feish Lashon, it's Lovin to the Yasser, which means that it's not Lashon HaKodesh. Which means that the Mekoram, all languages, the Mekoram is part of the Safa Achas in Lashon Kodesh. There's a passage that says, the Safa Brur Lavin Kol Shechem Echad in Spania. What's l'safa berura lavid kol shechem echad? That la'asid lavid is going to be a birur of all the languages, and they're going to return back into Lashon Kodesh. I just want you to understand what this likud is. That means there's a bechinas pnim. This is a Lashon of the Arizal Eitz Chaim. He talks about Lashon Aramis. That he says that Aramis is Lashon Achoronis. It's like the Achorayim of Kedusha. Which means that there's a Lashon of pnim and there's a Lashon of chutz. There's a Lashon of Golus and there's a Lashon of Gula. Now, the Shalah also writes this in Helach Ma'anya. Hashta Avi Lashon Abba B'nei Chorim. That the Lashon Gula is B'nei Chorim, is Lashon Kodesh, and Aramis is Lashon Golus. Which means like this. I think this is a very interesting story if we think about this. But this means like this: that we say Dvar Hashem Shamayim Nasu. We take this table, the Shulchan. The Shulchan is called Shin Lamed Ches Nun. Pshat is that the Shin, the Lamed, the Ches Nun, the sound of the Shin and the Lamed, the Ches Nun, is the mocker of the vibration, the energy that became matter, that became the table. Okay, so what do we say? What is the word table? In English, we call the word table. It means nothing. So the language, also there's a famous Ran in the beginning of the Dharm that says Lashon Askami. That's people agree to call table. But it's not that. That's a little bit more ogoimic. The table is, the word table is the way Americans look at a shulchan. That's the bechina of Achorayim of Kedusha. It's not pshat that there's one way, which is the shulchan, and that's the way the table is, and everything else is a lashon askami. It's just derech agav. The table could be a chair could be a table. No, if every person in America that speaks English calls a table, it must be that the words T-A-B-L, the words that spell the word table, the sound that says table is another cook on the exact same thing in the table. It's not the mucker of the table, it's not the shoyish of the table, but it's another expression of the table. Which means that every single expression in the world, b'mekoyram, is taka Lashon Kodesh. B'mekoyram is olam ha'achas. I'm going to show you something. We're going to go a little ma'imik and we'll see how this works. I think this is mamish a very givaldik in the Kodesh. Mahalkov, everyone's with me? Yeah, we'll feel more fanech, but let's let one stick over here. It's not English, it's Sarah. Like this. It says like this. The Gemara says that, the Gemara says that in Moller, the coil from Moiner Shoroimi, you were able to hear the sound of the sun. The sound of the sun. What's the sound of the sun? What's the death? How does it work? I'm going to try to understand this. The sound of the sun. The sound also is what the Rambam brings down, that all the Galgalim, that Yedoye, das Boyer and Yosef, the Rambam writes it even bigger than the das of a person, and the Galgalim, everything that's turning in the heavens, is all producing beautiful music. Derech Hagav, it's brought down, most people say that it's brought down, the Rambam and Moin Nevuchim tries to explain it, and over there it's connected to a person that's called Pythagoras, which he was the mocker of this Torah, but the truth is says it's a Beferish and Medrash that says that. Then it says, we know, I'm going to try to bring on all these things, it says there's Sichas Tkolim, Sichas Oifis, Sichas Chayes. What does it mean? I'm sure the person knows Sichas Oifis. That's the Ketana Shebehan knows Sichas Oifis. What's that Sichas Oifis? What, you know how to talk to a bird? Birds don't talk. So what's that Sichas Oifis? So wait a second, we'll have to understand this. Let's try to understand what this means. Sichas Oifis, Sichas Tkolim, you're listening to the trees. Apparently what this means is, and then you have the whole Perek Shira. The whole Perek Shira, which is with all the different animals are saying, every animal is saying another pasuk. The Perek Shira itself is interesting to say. And the first time it was published was by Moshe Mitrani, the Beis Halakim. It was the same Zman of the Arizon, the same Kufna of the Arizon Armak. And in the back of the Sefer, that's the Perek Shiur, he actually has a shtickle. Huh? No. It's the opposite. He's the first one that's been nimtzah as a text. The first one we have is Mitzmask. And he actually has a Pirush, and over there he actually tries to understand whose packets, the Malach of the Chaya itself. What's the shot that the whole world is singing? So there's a shtickle in the Reishis Chochmah Shtar Ava. We'll talk about it. Yeah, but what does it mean? I want to understand how everyone in this room can have Sichas Oifis. Sure. Huh? It's not it's you're going to see that it's not such a sure. It's not such a big gesagt. I mean, you need to work on it, but it's not a psazah. It's doing gesagt. Okay. The Shara Alba, the Rishis Chochmah writes, also from the Ramak, and that's not Kufa. He writes, Hiyadli, Shara Alba Peritas. Hiyadli, Misha Shama Vera Anshe, Shaholchul Eretz Hodu. They went to India. This is the Ramak, this is Rishis Chochmah. The Diras Bakim Yitzias Acham Mezir Chasa, Beis Holchul, the Echad Chasa Ilan. Ha'echad Sheneskar of Harbo Lishmoy Lidin Koil Achama, Mes, Ha'echad Nisalam, V'zeh B'charasi Amr Zeh Adei Ksiva. That one person when died, he heard the sound that was so loud, the sound of the sun, of the cosmos, of the movement of the sun was so loud that he went deaf, and one died, and the person that went deaf apparently came back to Tzvas. I guess people were going from Tzvas to Hodu already in time to Arizona. Ona Beis Chabad, exactly. But look, he came back, so with the sun, and he came back to Rishis Chochmah and told him that he wrote it down. That he went deaf because he heard the sound. Yeah. No, for the Mazda. That's not something good. There's a Peladic in Medish that he brings down the Medish from Chumah. Mizrach Shem Shem Avoy Mahol Shem Hashem B'Shash Hashem Azerech Hachu Sheker Mekalas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the Medish. Chenat HaMoitze B'Shash Hashem Yeshua Begiv on Bikas Shishlavsky. That Yeshua wanted to stop the sun. So what does he tell him? He tells him Shemesh Begiv Doim. Hanik Doim. He tells him to be silent. Why is he telling the sun to be silent? He says because the moment it becomes silent, it stops functioning. The definition of its functioning is singing a song. So the Kol HaBriya is singing this Avigan. The whole world is singing a song. Everyone's singing a song. What's the song that the whole Briya is singing?
Basically, the singing is the Chaz of the Briya.
Oh. Basically, it works like this. Everything in the Briya, there's nothing that's even a doimen is called doimen. It's called silence. Pshat is silent. You don't hear it. It's not. Everything in the Briya is teeming, is moving with life, with movement. Movement is chayas. Everything is chayas. Everything on the Dvar Hashem that's moving. There's a vibration that's saying move, move, move. A tiger is singing the Eibishter's Kelusa Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu by being a tiger. When a tiger is being a tiger and the sun is being the sun, when the sun is sunning and the tiger is tigering, that's when the tiger is singing Kelusa Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because that's when he's mizbata, he's revealing the koyach haliki that's coming through him to say tiger. So you're looking at the tiger, there's many different ways you can look at it. You can look at the tiger as a tiger. Or you can look at it as in English, which is the choronis, the backside of the tiger, call it a tiger. I don't know actually how you call a tiger in Lashon Kodesh. An amer. Okay? So what pshat is, that's a leopard, but yeah? Zolzain. That the idea is that everything in the Briya, Kol HaBriya, Kuloi, from the tiger to the stars, to the sand, to anything in between, to the Evan Mekir Tiznak. Everything is screaming, everything is saying Eibish's praise. Everything's talking. Everything's giving off a sound. That sound is is the koyach haboyer that's shofea, and it comes through this bria.
How do you come back from such a sound?
Because you have to really listen. When was the last time you When was the last time you sat with a cat? I'm not saying you should do this. Don't say you came up in the Shiur and I told you to do that. Don't say that. But when was the last time you sat next to a cat for 5 minutes and looked him in the eyes? Looked the cat in the eyes. Or with a goat, a sheep, maybe a nice little animal walks to you. What does it mean? A person that can attune themselves can be sensitive, to be present, and to fully be present with a goat. And I'm not saying somebody is an avodah, but it's a big avodah. Then the person can hear the sichas chayas. What shat is, the person is tuning themselves in to hear what this thing is expressing. What's their life? What is the goat goading at this time? What's the cat chatting? No, it's not knowledge. You have to be super sensitive, and focused and present. Das ist die ganze Kunst.
The cat is being a cat. What? The cat is cat.
No, the cat is singing the song anyway. You want to hear the song?
I'm looking at him.
No, you're looking at the cat. You only see the cat. But you want to talk here.
The cat is sleeping here.
About that, the cat, everything. The table is talking to you. Huh? That's another thing. That's another thing. Yeah. So I want to say this one. I want to say one of the That's correct. I want to say theKud is like everything. Even a doim. You have to be very, very, very sensitive to hear a doim. What? No, but that's the highest of the key. The Evan is everything. No, that's misbated, that English. This Evan is misbated, this Keller is misbated, this possible. You have some what? So package swarm is this called Chabura. I just want to say this Shiur the person has is a good Shiur. There's also another Shiur. It's another thing. It's a different Kodesh. The Shiur is, so how can we call it Sichas Loifis, Sichas Kolam? You should call Sichas Kolabria. So the more in the Lekutim, by the end, in Tillim writes, Ve'elach kol bria she'en b'chayes ha'oisius, u'lechein, b'chol echad yesh Sichas, Oifis, Zepufim, Sichas Kolam, everything. This is a mashal. The Oifis, the Kolam, but because you can actually hear, you can hear the Kolam, the winds blowing and ruffling in the winds. You can hear it. Because Doim is very hard. Doim is mamish silent. You have to mamish be really big Baal Madrega to hear a stone talking. But the idea is that everything in the Bria, and let's go back to the original idea, because I think this is very negative. There's also, it's hard to say in the Bria, but there's also a gather, just like we said before with Lashon Kodesh, that if you become a Safa Brura, there's also the Lashon that's in Golus. That the Lashon is not actually misbata, the perfect state. In order for something to it's not so much what it's misbata, but how you're listening to it. In order to listen to something and actually hear it being misbata, actually expressing the Safa Brura, when you hear it, what you're hearing is actually the Eibush talking to this child. In other words, when you look at it and you hear a goat is doing meh, and you're listening to the goat and you hear what the goat, that's not the oimer. You have to hear in the goat goading the Maloi Choletz Kvoida. And when you hear the Maloi Choletz Kvoida, the Achdus Hashem in the goat, then it's the beer of that goat sound to its mocker. Just like in every language. When someone talks English, you can say, okay, the guy's talking English, he's not talking Lashon Kodesh, so there's no, it's not true. That's just the achoranis, that's the backside. What you have to do is, in that English, with the person talking, or French or Chinese, whatever the person's talking to you, in that language you hear, if you can mizdabik this language, this sound that you're hearing, to the Boyer Echad, if you can mizdabik it to the Achdus Hashem, then you're doing a beer of that sound to its origin. So you're returning the sound to its Achdus.
Physical sound from the physical
But
sound.
the physical sound is the medium, is the tools that allows you to hear the Rebbeinu Shalom talking to you at every time.
That's the goat. The sound is the goat guitar.
That's correct.
Physical sound, you understand the spiritual sound.
Correct, something like that.
Through the physical
Correct.
sound, you understand the spiritual
Correct. And then you understand the true sound, and then it's a market for Vegas.
The massive message from
That's a central design. There's a siftus, the oasis of I'm giving my siftus because they break the barriers of atmosphere. It's a besondere Sache. And there are all yeah, you're right, sir. But there's another thing that all the Gemara says the Malach Mother's Be'er is Klom Tzoikin. That there's a certain type of asidus. I don't know if you know. You know, there was a tsunami many years ago, a few years ago. You know that no animals were killed, none of them. All unlawful.
No vibrations.
That's right. They pick up higher frequencies. So if you're able to tune in, to listen to an animal, to hear the frequencies of an animal, you hear the bria of the Eibush of the asidus.
And that's the value of the nefesh of Bahamas.
The Nakuda, this is the big Nakuda. The big Nakuda is that that the Nakuda is that a person has to mis'ala every sound. So let's go back to the beginning. Just like we have with every different color, every different visual that you have, that whenever you see, you have to say, what is the Eibush talking to me through this color? What's the Malay color? It's provided the fullness of the Eibush that's expressing itself through the red, through the blue, through the green. Every sound that you hear in the world, you hear the siren. Why is the siren? What is that call for me to have some level of vagus? The Eibush is telling me I should wake up, I should go to sleep, I should do something. Every single sound that you have, you become sensitive to the world, the sounds of the universe.
You didn't get overloaded?
Huh?
You didn't get overloaded?
Okay, that's another shaila. That's a shaila we talked about with sound. I said like with chili, you can't do this OCD, you can't do this in such a madriga that your mamash you can't function. You once in a while have to open yourself up to the idea of sound. And also to mefatech, this chush, this is the whole nekuda, this whole chush of sound, is to mefatech this koyach ruchni that we have, that we can hear. The fact that you hear is a koyach ruchni, because you're listening to something that's actually telling you something. It's not stam, you're hearing this sound and that sound, and this person's bold and that person's bold. There's something in the sound and the vibration that's supposed to be a certain avoida, a certain elevation. Safa Brura means that you elevate that to the Lashon Kodesh. You elevate all the sounds of the Bria. If we elevate all the sounds of the Bria and everything we hear, Achas Hashem, that's Mashiach HaPrati, a person, where a person could see, could hear everything.
If someone talks in Narishkeit, and that is also.
So why do you have to listen to the Narishkeit? And then it's right, the sound of the world. There's something. The Eibush want it, you should hear. What?
Anyone can tune in?
We just have to create. We have to create. Okay, listen. This is sensitivity, like everything. Like we did the Chush HaTziyun.
Okay, give me that.
No, but as we did the Chush HaTziyun, I'm talking about the Fateh, the Chush HaTziyun, down the Koyach Tziyur, to the down something. It took a long time till someone started finally. The same thing also. This is the Chladus, one of the Nekudas that we have to talk about. There's many different Nekudas. There's different Yisoidis. This is one of the Yisoidis to open ourselves up to Fateh, this Chush, to be sensitive to hear the sound of the Eibush talking to us through the world.
More simple way, when you go to the zoo, you see a beautiful lion, the way you feel about it, the version you feel majestic, that's part of his language.
Correct, that's correct.
Same thing with a
And if you tune into that, and you realize that that is an expression of the Eibush's koyach in this world, so you're looking at the line, you're saying, wow, I have such Avos Hashem through this line. So all of a sudden,
So the Hashem said that Ari is needed?
yeah, same idea. You're looking at this thing, and that brings you into another thing. So you're taking this object, and this is you're using the tools. You're using the tools. He says you're using the tools of the Bria, the sounds of the Bria, to get to the Boira, and that's the stuff of Bura. Okay, this is one Yisoid. Okay, this is one Yisoid. We want to also do something. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get more Bohai mixed in, and we'll have to understand them more deeply.
The sound actually has
Of course. the sound.
Was meint das?
They know it's just here, but the movie
The sound. What do you mean? It's no question. Yeah, if you go to the Koisel in the morning, very early in the morning, and you're sensitive, there's a tremendous, crazy sound. I don't know why. You can't hear it, you go deaf.
What time?
By net. You go there, yeah. Go sit there by the Koisel, by the nets. I'm telling you, tune in, you're going to hear a sound that you're going to go deaf. Huh? You have to go. The capital is Shmi. No, this is the Shmi, and there's something very powerful. Everything has a sound. I love the sound of the sun. I'm telling you, it's a big sound there. The Yellow Melech, I didn't... Of course there's a sound, I know. There's a sound of everything. The whole universe is giving off sounds. Okay.
Why do you have to go to India?
He needed to be vertecht, this chush. I don't know, the Reishis Chacham was a little bit stark in it. It says, Kachamais, doesn't say why, he went. Huh? You can go there. Okay, Lamaisa, again, this is a Yusoid, this is one big Yusoid, it's a new topic, it's a new big Mahalach. So I just want to introduce this, and we're going to go slowly, very slowly, and you'll see we're going to do sounds. B'kitzur, what I want to do mamish now is a me'ain of this. This comes from the Torah of Baal Shem, which we have to go also Naman Atfil if you learn this very well. And it's all about sound and entering into vibration. That's the whole Aliyah and Neshama and Derech Hispashtus of Baal Shem is through sound. You use no. There's one mocker from the Maggid that says the oisis also have a tzura, but the chlolis, it's this, you're moving through the sound. The oisi is sound, just sound. What? And it's about Shem Tov is the Mahalach this way. It's the mocker, I think, is going back to the Ramak, it goes back to Amalaki, it goes back to the Kavanah Rishonim. It's not the Derech Hari, and that's why Kavanah, we're going to talk about it. We have to go through a little bit more in the sugya. So what we're going to do now, let's hold off all the things. Let's suspend all your shilas now. Let's go into the Mahalach. We have to go into. You'll figure it out. You'll see. We're going to try to do something right now. You have water. Could you bring up cups of water for everybody? I'm going to make a bracha very slow and sound. And we'll see. We're going to do this very, very slow. I'm not explaining exactly what this is and how it works, but the nekuda is that you're going to feel the vibrations of the sound of Boro. Maybe go to the bathroom or something. Is this Darshik? No, that's what was on Darshik?
Is man ging schmeur daar, lukt ze maar naar mij, ik schmeur daar. Schaut, dan maakt dat ook geen steen.
You're not concentrating on the you're just feeling it, not concentrating. We're going to talk about it. There's a Kavanah before. You have cups. You can actually change the particles of water. Okay. If you have a lot of kavanah, I think there are maybe some I think maybe we'll shut the lights. We'll do mamish a real kavanah. We're going to do a little ashkata first. Okay, that's very good. The kids, I'm not going to explain the whole, I think this because there's a whole Derech Baal Shem. It's a very big mahalach. That's definitely. let's just go with it. There's a lot of big oimik, and we have to talk about it. There's very big there. But the call is like this. We're going to do Ashkata. We're going to do for like 5 minutes Ashkata. Everyone will get in a very good place. We're going to try to do this together. Because you'll see later, certainly when we get to Amalafia, we're going to have to learn how to do this together as a Chabura. Everyone has to join together with sounds. So, everyone has a Polish Yiddish. Yeah? So, Burich na Boro. Yeah? Okay. So, what we're going to do is every syllable, at least a syllable, every tenua, you take an inhale, ba or bu, ba, bi, ta. Okay? Very slow. Every syllable, every tenua, you take an inhale before, you have a shtikl kavana what you're going to say, and when you exhale, he says when you're letting the tenua out of your mouth, don't try to think of any kavanas, just try to feel push it in your entire body, the koyach of that ois, of that sound, of that sirif. Huh?
Which visual?
Don't try to do visual, feel it. Push it, feel it in your body.
That's a different level. Feeling different level.
I know. It's a little mix. I just want to do something in practice. Just machen the lights. Huh? Think the machshava before you say the letter. Before you say ba.
Think what?
Think what baruch means. Whatever baruch, with makar kol brachas. Which is
just like the glaze in the
yeah, but that's then the glaze. I don't kind of shot the
Just like the glaze in the oven.
We're going to do Ashkata for 5 minutes. After Ashkata, we're going to do it together. Take a deep inhale. When I say take a deep inhale, I want to do a deep inhale. And I have a machshava what baruch means, and then say ba. And then a machshava of the continuation of baruch, and then no, B'Shem come on, the baruch, that's the whole thing. Bracha, the makar. Yes. I want to get to a very quiet place. And then Ata, Adoi, Eloi, Melech. Ha, Oi, Lam. Sha, Ko, Mi, Ya, Mi, Va, Roi. And always with the exhale.
When you say the word,
Yes, I'm going to do it together so you'll know what you're doing a little bit. But first,
Makari has four
four.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shem. Okay. Every syllable. And take a deep breath, and the exhale, push it, exhale the whole thing. And the good is to feel it in. First, let's feel it in your body. You hear the sound, you feel it in your body. Okay. Shine? So everyone knows how to do Ashkata. We're just going to close our eyes. We'll do quickly Ashkata, which is take a little machshava ketana, a few letters, a few words. Just repeat it over and over to yourself very quietly. Do abata. And the thoughts that come up. Just quiet the mind, quiet yourself, be peaceful. After you becomes a machshava, the mind is becoming quieter. You can think for a moment in a very peaceful, misashmas way. You think of one I can bracha. Brachas that maybe should look hard call brachas. The baruch is the makar bracha and atla, the etzem atzmas. Hashem, Eloi and Sof. in the caves, or Agul, Melach, Oilom, his Mamlech, throw down even to Oilom, Lashon Helen, all the way into the Bria, Shakol, everything is Bria, the Yesh, is Nia, the Torah, the Dvar Hashem, the water that you're drinking is Taka Dvar Hashem. You're even down its name, Nafshin and Tisatav. So we know the Lechem that's in the mind, Dvar Hashem, that you're connected to Dvar Hashem, that's Slavish now. From the Orient, so from the Atta, all the way to this cup of water. This is the closest in this color. It's revealed itself in this cup of water. There's tremendous thankfulness. Maybe for making this water for you. This water is going to refresh you and bring you to the highest. Mamash Dvar Hashem, if you're connecting. Again, it's Baruch is the Mokar Kol Brachos. Atta is Atzmus, the Moed. Hashem is the Sof. The Kelim is Agul. Melach Oilom. The Hester. Shakol. Torah. Everything in the world is Dvar Hashem. Tremendously grateful and thankful for the Yiddish to give you this honor. Gently open your eyes. Just focus. Hold a cup of water in your right hand. Think about if you want to make a bracha to connect back with the Yiddish. Dvar Hashem that's animating you the highest into this water. Take a deep inhale.
Vijf